he thought that he was doing the right thing, but a lot of the times it was just coming across kind of narcissistic and too much. But like there was always a player there, very, very talented player there, but you know, the disrespect he has shown to the club and just the way he left and things like that, and you know, questions over his commitment, I would never have him back. It's a testament to where we are at the moment, that we have to rely on players like that, and this isn't a quick fix. I think especially you have to take into account, look, you know, the proof is in the pudding. He's had a great, you know, first start to the season, however many games with Sporting, won all their league games, just hammered Man City. But he's coming into a new set of players, not his set of players, you know, a set of players that he cannot choose. They are there and he has to work with what's at his disposal.
Hello everybody, and you're very welcome back to another episode of the Cult of Cantona with myself, PBL, and Paulie O'Brien, and we're joined by somebody today who loves a scintillating curry on a Saturday night. I couldn't resist. Jonathan, aka Nasti, how are you doing?
I'm not too bad, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I was just up and down the stairs like a rat with a drain pipe trying to organise all this on your breath. You might be aware Nasti's one of these incredible energies online, positive energies. The kids love him. Even one of the kids was in the studio today, and they're just absolutely mesmerised with him with the positive message that he puts out there. So from our point of view, we really wanted to get him in. He's a massive United fan, obviously. And we wanted to know a little bit more about his journey, but also about his relationship to United, how that works. How he deals with the most dysfunctional relationship in his life with United. How are you doing?
Oh, well, I'm good, but you know, obviously tough time for United at the minute, but optimistic. You know, Amorim coming in, so hopefully times are on the up. The good times are coming back. And
how do you feel about Shells being the best team in the world?
Oh, stop! That was a tough last day. I mean, there was no good case scenario. It was Rovers or Shells, but at least with Rovers, I kind of got used to them winning. With Shells, this is just an onslaught now of, you know, it's just something new. I'm not enjoying it, so hopefully it's the last one for a while.
Yeah, I've always been a Shells fan, and it's because they're the closest club to where I grew up. But I'm just delighted to see the league as well getting a huge shot in the arm exposure-wise, you know, especially in a few extra quid coming into the league. About fucking time. It's about time the FAI got their finger out of their arses about it all. So just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you found the magic sandwich ingredients for all your success online. How did that happen?
So obviously started social media 2 years ago. Big Bows fan, so just posting Bows vlogs once a week or every 2 weeks, however often they play, you know. And the season comes to an end around this time of year in November. I got to a point where I was getting good engagement on the videos, but obviously with the season over, wasn't much to post about. Even United I wasn't really posting about at the time, so it was kind of tough to, you know, navigate what content I was going to go into. So it came down to a point I said, what are my two main interests? To be football and field. So I just whacked up my takeaway on TikTok one night, and all of a sudden the TikTok started overtaking the field started overtaking the football. So
it wasn't a calculated thing. You just one night you said I'll do it for a laugh.
It never is. Nothing's calculated. It's all just wing it.
Yeah. We all love your content, and I get a great laugh out of it, especially with the kids. They all hang on every word you say online. But let's park all that and put the sandwich toaster away for a minute. And, like, what's your earliest memory of supporting United, and why United?
I would say definitely my first season supporting United was a great one because it was the year we won the Champions League, 07-08. I was 7, so that's like a huge season to start on, obviously. And then 6 seasons later, then it just started all going downhill. So
you're like, I want me money back.
Yeah. So definitely that Champions League final in Moscow, that's like my earliest huge memory.
Yeah, my brother was at that. He was behind the goal for the penalties, and he said, number one, it was the most expensive thing he's ever spent money for himself. But he said that it meant so much more to the club because the 99 thing and whatever else, the winning it again was very important for the club and the legacy and everything else. And everyone has different memories, especially on this show, but obviously United fans listening as well. For me, it's kind of like the 1992. I was about 10 or 11 in 1992. So when they won the league for the first time, it was a huge thing. But even my dad's a fan, and I have 3 older brothers, so we're all United fans. And we all have different moments. But for you, what's your big signature kind of slobber knocker moment? Everyone's cringing watching this now.
The first real moment as a United fan is definitely that Moscow final.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, I feel like I definitely watched parts of the 06-07 season, but I wasn't like, when you're at that age where you're proper invested in football, that was definitely the first season of it. And yeah, as I said, it couldn't have come at a better time.
Yeah,
I think we'd won the league for the first time in a while in that 07 season.
Yeah.
And it kind of put us back on because it was going Chelsea, had taken it twice. And then we retained, I think we'd gone about 3 years without getting it, maybe 4. Arsenal, Chelsea had it.
Yeah.
And then
it looked like we were out for the count a bit.
Yeah.
And Ronaldo, we weren't like, particularly I remember Ronaldo in like 04 when he came, there was a bit of, oh no, here we go, another busted flush. We've signed another fucking, because, and it looked like Jose was taking over. Like we were all shitting ourselves going, oh my God, Arsenal are have pipped us before that, and now there's somebody else. So it looked like Ferguson was coming to an end. And there was always rumours around that time about Fergie stepping down after 2002. Pretty much
he announced retirement at some point.
Yeah, and Sven-Göran Eriksson was lined up to take over.
Yeah.
Like it was all signed and sealed, and he changed his mind last minute.
That 08 final, I actually watched that in Old Trafford. They opened Old Trafford up for the United fans.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And you could get a ticket to go over and
That's
watch
cool.
it in the stadium. It was unbelievable. And it was a full stadium of United fans, no away section. It's great crack.
I'd love to. They do that now, don't they? In Los Angeles, they have this big theatre, don't they, where they watch a lot of games.
The bar.
Yeah.
So if you see the bar and it's like you're at the match.
Yeah, I'd love that. Like, look, to be honest with you, sometimes it's a bit of hassle, especially in the winter when it's fucking freezing.
Yeah.
Like, why can't we have that here? That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know what way to do it though.
Like,
it's mad looking, isn't it?
It has to. Like, it's obviously a 360 thing, like the Sphere. Where you.
Yeah. Imagine watching matches in the Sphere.
Oh, it'd be amazing.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't looked into something like that.
As far as I know, they're trying to build something very similar like that in the docks here. Maybe not to that stature, but but just getting back to kind of United and in general, and what it means to you. Like, who would be your favourite United player?
Definitely Ronaldo again in that season. Obviously, he was instrumental for us, but a less generic answer would be Chicharito.
Great answer.
But when I was a kid, and I'll try and find a picture of when I was a kid, but I actually had the same trim as him, so just a one all over, and I was quite dark as a kid as well. So I actually got a lot of people saying that I looked like him, which obviously made me like him a bit more, I suppose. But geez, what a man! Super sub, the epitome of a super sub, and
great,
yeah, just
great attitude.
Just such a big player for us over those seasons, like.
Yeah, and he really like players today. The current squad could take a leaf out of his book. Just seem to really care all the time. Really, really care. There's a lot of that.
We
kind
scored
of
that back header against Stoke.
Oh yeah. I just remember the one in the Community Shield where he booted it up to his face and then he headed it in. Mad looking, yeah.
Yeah, he was fucking great. Still loves the club, and there was even talk because he was still playing. Are you still playing now?
Jose want him.
Yeah, there was a bit of kind of and I was like, get him back in, even just coming off the bench again.
That season at Leverkusen he had shortly after, didn't we have him out on loan?
Yeah,
but we sold him to Leverkusen and then he banged in like 30 goals or something that season.
To Real Madrid, which is at that point in his career was a step up.
Yeah.
I remember he played under Van Gaal and he missed a penalty and it cut to Giggs and Van Gaal on the bench, and it literally looked like Van Gaal wrote an X to his name.
That's the end of him.
And Moisey didn't give him a minute, like.
It's a pity. I mean, he was very Solskjaer-esque, workmanlike in a really good way. It's like what Rasmus is now. For me, I love Rasmus because he looks like he cares. Even when he's not playing well, he looks like he's going for every ball in the way that you want him to. Do you have any kind of pre-match rituals that you do before you watch a match? Because you're always wearing United jerseys, so you must.
Oh yeah, of course you have to wear the jersey. Nothing mad in any way, no. I don't think so. I mean, it used to be. I used to be on this streak as a kid where I'd have like a certain jersey, and if I didn't wear it, it was just this streak where they didn't win when I didn't wear that specific jersey. But now we always lose, so we don't really have that problem. But nothing mad.
I
Anyway,
have similar rituals to that, and I always say I hate football players with superstitions. Like I hate that Onana won't wear number 1 out of superstition. I think it's weak-minded, but yet I have loads of superstitions. But I'm not a Man United player.
Yeah.
But I have a ritual that I want my daughter to be in the room when United are playing because we always seem to win.
What happens when she goes to school?
No, just
social life.
School's a thing of the past.
You know, there's matches during the week and on Saturdays and stuff.
No, that'll be days off. But she, like even the FA Cup, I was sent her into the sitting room and I stood outside the door.
Really?
Yeah, I was just watching it through the crack while she was playing with toys inside, and I couldn't watch that game. I was too tense. I get that with a lot of games. Especially when Ireland are in an international competition. Like I think we played France and we got a pen out very early in the match. It's like, I have to leave the room. I can't watch this. I can't watch us take this penalty.
Yeah.
Like, what's your relationship like with football? Can you watch it? There's you know the way some people get very angry about it? Or are you a football fan where you can step outside of it and go, right, we lost, time to get on with it, okay?
I like a lot of United fans, I've kind of accustomed to being the latter there. Like, definitely used to take losses badly, especially because the time I started watching United, you know, for the first 5-6 years, like, I didn't know what a loss was. We were winning the league, you know, almost every year virtually. So to go from that into everything that's happened since Moyes, you know, I've developed thick skin and just learned to take a loss better, I feel. So yeah, obviously, you know, it's never a nice feeling. It does ruin your day essentially, but you know, your weekend with that. But yeah, I definitely take it a bit better than I used to. Anyway,
how do you feel about Erik ten Hag now that he's moved on? With a bit of hindsight, I know it's not.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you have to look back. He did win us 2 trophies, and for the longest time, I was pro Ten Hag. Only up until recently, it was only after that Spurs game I decided enough was enough. You know, even after the Liverpool game, I was like, you know, there's red flags here, but you know, they were. My point was, a lot of people were saying that he had lost the dressing room, but there were performances that were indicating otherwise. Like, I was at that FA Cup final, and that was not a team that had, you know, given up on their manager. And then obviously coming into this season, I was just saying it's completely turned on its head. So in the end, he had to go. But look, he got us 2 trophies, so you do have to appreciate that aspect.
Yeah, I feel the same about Ten Hag, and we were all very pro Ten Hag for a long period of time here. We'd be going through our podcast mirror, but now in hindsight, with the gift of it, I feel like we've been aggressively gaslit, and now I'm thinking back. Oh Jesus, we took a 7-0 hammering to Liverpool under him, and it was still a case that we wanted him to continue. Like this was nothing. It's just one of those things. The players let him down. He ushered Ronaldo out of the club, and we thought, must be best for the club. Probably wasn't. Whatever happened with him and Sancho, we had his back. And now when I'm looking at the results, I'm thinking,
changes things a bit.
Jesus,
and there's some stuff leaking. There's stuff leaking as well that he handled that badly.
We've just had such a poison chalice for so long, and we hired the elite. We had Mourinho, we had Louis van Gaal. Then we went, for me, my feelings on Solskjaer, bottom of the barrel, a yes man who should have never had that role. Mm-hmm. Then to Ten Hag, the only way had to be up. So we were willing to accept a hammering here and there. Sure, his first 2 matches were a loss, and then we beat Liverpool, so we're a little bit positive. But just looking back, the gift of hindsight, taking a 7-0 hammering, taking 4-0 hammering to this.
You have to ask yourself, like, realistically, right? If you're a Real Madrid or Barca, right, at their pomp, if they lost 7-0 to anybody or 7-1, you know, the manager would be gone. Wouldn't matter who it was.
He wouldn't even get a press.
And that's the thing. I think it's our loyalty and our decency as a club, and this kind of workman's club vibe, which helps us a lot of the time. But we fall on our own sword because of that a little bit.
Yeah,
you know, that we're not. If we want to be an elite top 2-3 clubs in the world in terms of trophies, again, we have to be ruthless. Like, if the Amorim thing isn't working out in 6 to 8 months to a year, like in any other club, the top clubs, your Madrids, your Man Cities, like Pep Guardiola, whatever he's doing with Man City, but if he had a bad 6, look at the way, the fact that he's
4 losses, and
look at the way that
people are on his head.
It's starting to turn, you know. So you have to ask yourself, are we too loyal for our own good? What do you think?
I mean, I definitely think with Amorim, even, like, this isn't a quick fix. I think especially you have to take into account, look, you know, the proof is in the pudding. He's had a great, you know, first start to the season, however many games with Sporting, won all their league games, just hammered Man City. But he's coming into a new set of players, not his set of players, you know, a set of players that he cannot choose. They are there and he has to work with what's at his disposal. And I don't think that we have, you know, definitely nowhere near a league winning side, but even a top 4 side could be tough, you know, to get that. So I won't be holding him to that standard that he has to get top 4. I think if he does, absolutely incredible job, and people have to, acknowledge that. But, at the end of the day, I look at it that this isn't his set of players, and he does need that little bit more time, at least his own window, to get going.
Yeah, I mean, I like him. He's ticking all the boxes. Number one, he can speak English for a start, because when Ten Hag came in, I looked at the press conference last week again, just out of curiosity, and because what we're talking about here, the biggest problem I think that Ten Hag had at Man United was communication.
Yeah.
I think he ticked a lot of the boxes in terms of the restructuring, and he made difficult decisions, and he's a confident man, and we all admire that about him. And I was all and I have Dutch family, and I say this a lot, so I was very invested in it, and I was like, yeah, he's the right man for the job, and I believed it. Now let's not forget, Ten Hag was the big name coach in the way Amorim is now.
Oh, everybody wanted Ten Hag.
Everyone wanted Ten Hag.
Absolutely.
Well, did he fail an interview at Spurs due to lack of charisma? Now that's probably nonsense, and it's probably not true.
But he got sacked for lack of charisma. That's the bottom line at United.
But
in my opinion,
did hear that. I don't know if that's true. If you heard anything about it, he interviewed for the Spurs role, and they turned him down in favour of the former Wolves manager, the goalkeeper
Nuno.
Yeah,
because they felt he lacked charisma, and he's not the man to take them forward. And then it was, the bit of Spurs. Man United took a Spurs reject. Of course, he done great things with Ajax. He's been criticised heavily on a lot of his transfers, and there's been some good and bad. But for me, Anthony is getting roasted, and I know your feelings on Anthony. But you've seen Anthony as an Ajax player. If you have, you'll know that we were excited about signing him. He looked the player we needed. He makes his debut against Arsenal. Great.
Especially when he does that Sabutio thing.
I don't know what happened to
the
him.
fidget spinner.
What happened to that man that the wheels just fell off him? But Anthony was a good football player.
People forget Anthony scored in all of his first 3 games.
Right.
He
looked and then the spin around.
So did Xerxes, in fairness, in his
he
scored a belter. I know we got hammered in the game, but he scored a belter against City, if you remember.
Yeah, stood up against Barcelona to get us through the group stage. For me, the wheels really fell off with Erik Ten Hag over the signing of Mason Mount, and I'm gonna go down. I think Mason Mount is factually the worst signing in the history of our club.
Wow.
Over William Prunier and and Massimo Taibi.
Massimo Taibi let a few goals in. It didn't really hurt us or hinder us, and we didn't pay big money for him. Also, he wasn't our number one choice. He was behind Bosnich, right? So this was a marquee signing, and you could say, Bebe, so on. Yeah. Bebe wasn't a marquee signing. Obertan wasn't a marquee. They were bought for a few quid, sold at a loss. They weren't really.
The issue that I have is probably the issue that Garnacho has right now at United, right? Is that why the fuck was Mason Mount given the number 7 shirt? The most prestigious number in the club. The fucking Jordan number. And he's been injured. And look, there's been times when he comes on and he looks fairly sharp. But how could you possibly overlook what could be a Ballon d'Or nominee in 5 years and give Mason Mount the number? It's outrageous. Even today, I'm still like, why? Particularly because Mount was out last season, he should have went, look, I'll give you that number. I'll work my way back into it. I'll be humble. It's extra pressure wearing that 7.
I think at times Ten Hag did kind of go the extra mile to, make the players stay on their toes. And,
definitely.
He thought that he was doing the right thing, but a lot of the times it was just coming across kind of narcissistic and too much. Just a bit too Mourinho-esque. Even Mourinho, I don't think, would have done a lot of those things. But I completely agree with you. Mount coming in and getting the 7 straight away, it was mad.
Sense, didn't it?
Yeah. He's not even a 7 player.
He's not. It's crazy. It was a crazy thing.
The whole signing of Mason Mount. So he hadn't played 90 minutes of football in something like 2.5 years. His best football was played at Derby County. He was in the last year of his contract. Chelsea had said openly that they don't want him. Yet we still paid 55 million for a man who was Jack Wilshere-esque crocked. Yeah. Right. Every time he's on the pitch for 45 minutes. He's done.
Well, if you're injury prone, we're going to put a bid in for you.
James Maddison was available. He was relegated with Leicester. He was available for transfer. He's actually a player that would have been far more substantial to the squad. And here we are now, a number 7 wearing Mason Mount, who's out for 6 months at a time with heartburn.
Well, you look at it especially, wasn't it Euro 2021, and they were kind of debating England because they had a lot of attacking midfielders. So it was. Grealish was still very central there for Villa at the time. Then you had Foden, Mount and Maddison. That was the conversation. And now those 3 are, still firmly in the English squad, but Mount's nowhere to be seen. So take from that what you will.
For him.
Yeah.
So how do we feel in general about Amorim? so far.
Oh, I'm very optimistic.
Very optimistic. As I said, I don't think the players are there at his disposal to do anything major. But a trophy would be lovely. A trophy and a charge for top 4.
I'd like a Europa League.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Just like a big night out. You know, where we can go and have a few points and watch our team and go, that's great, enjoy that.
Champions League for next season at this stage would be biblical, you know.
I mean, how many points are we off 4th place now? I think we're only, as it stands right now, before this goes out, I think maybe 5 or 6 off the top 4 right now.
Yeah.
So if we go on any sort of a run, it's very possible we get top
And people forget, you know, how early it is in the season still.
Yeah.
You know, like it's definitely not too late to salvage something here.
Yeah, Fergie used to always say, leagues are not won before Christmas, they're won after Christmas.
Week 9 or 10.
Something like that. I mean, it's only 12 games or something. Yeah. So I think he's you know, he's making all the right signals. In his interview, he seemed very calm. He's like, I feel as if I should be here. He ticks all the boxes. But look, this is the thing, right? The argument we had for Ten Hag was, look, when he gets his transfers, when he gets his back up in every position, we'll be all right. And then he had that, and then the arse fell out of it anyway. So now we're looking at Amorim and we're going, yeah, but it's not his team and he didn't buy it. But again, if you use the Real Madrid comparison, right? If Ancelotti inherited a team, or whoever comes into Real Madrid, they'll always get a team that he didn't buy.
Yeah.
But how do they make it work? How did City get it work when Pep came in? I know he changed over time and he didn't win in the 4th season or whatever. How come they don't give them any leeway, but we automatically are programmed to give them a little bit more leeway?
They're elite teams, to be fair. Like, I don't think we have anything near that in terms of a full roster of players. Definitely not Real Madrid, but about Pep when he came in, I don't think there's very many players that are still there since Pep came in. Like, that's entirely Pep's squad. And I do feel like you can't really...
Scott Carson, who's just fucking winning it. Played 2 games.
Just hanging about, yeah. But yeah, I feel like you can't fully like judge a manager until he has the chance to at least attempt that. And Ten Hag did attempt that. He took a lot of his Ajax players, which is, you know, a lot of them shouldn't have came in the end. But I don't think Amorim would go down that route.
Just about in terms of, you know, other clubs, they seem to have a lot less patience under the same circumstances. Like,
I think Chelsea are the example that we'd be looking to. Why do Chelsea have zero tolerance or not very much patience? Like, Pochettino was brought in, he was given the year. He didn't do great, he didn't do miserable, but they had enough to know, no, it's not happening. But he did around the same level as Ten Hag, and we still had the patience. And I think if Pochettino had the United role at the time and did this work to the same level, yeah, you're right, we would have been like, no, keep him, he needs time.
Yeah.
Chelsea had zero. Now, Chelsea are an extreme example because they sack everybody all the time. Like, they got rid of Ancelotti for just simply not winning the league. Once upon a time, having previously won the league.
Yeah,
it's an interesting clubs, but they're the extreme of it. They kind of have a zero tolerance policy when it comes to not performing to the metrics they expect.
This is it. I mean, look, what do they say about United? You know, every day is a Man United news day. You know, it doesn't matter what we're doing or not doing. We're always in the press, good and bad, constantly, front page, back page, or
still
whatever
the
else.
Sunday kick-off. We're never the 3 o'clock Saturday kick-off. Like,
Yeah. It's things are changing. In fairness, even in terms of the match of the day. I don't know if anyone. Match of the Day is a television show on BBC that airs on a Saturday night, where they show clips of Premiership games. But United are not even top. Like, if we're playing on the Saturday, we're not. We're second or third up now. That's the way things are.
Yeah, we used to be the feature. Without fail, we'd be playing Bradford, and we'd be the feature.
Like, it is shifting. The paradigm is shifting. Now we all hope that City are, clipped. Someone clips their wings now with all these charges. But in terms of media,
on those charges for you both.
Yeah.
So they're going against financial fair play. Is that what the issue is?
Yeah.
And what's your view on this? Because they're being strong-armed, right? They have all this money and they're being strong-armed. They're like, no, you can't do this. Even though you have all this money, you can't spend it.
Yeah.
Do they have a point? I mean, like, mind your own business, FA. This is our money and we should be allowed to spend it as we want. Same with Newcastle. Same with us to a degree. Do they have a point? Might they win this? Might they beat these charges?
They might do, because it's a precedent. Because it's the thing about it is, in my opinion, is that it only becomes illegal when it's zeroed out to be illegal. That's the point. That would be their argument. They're not stupid. They're not a stupid club, and they've very intelligent people running it. That's why we poached their top man in Barada.
Yeah.
So they're not stupid. They might get done for some. I think they'll get done for some minor things, but not enough to throw them out of the league. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see them
Slap on the wrist. That's about it.
What do you think, Nasty, of the financial fair play?
I think it'll just be a slap on the wrist. I mean, you're seeing the lengths they went to with Everton, and like you're not seeing anything like that or that level of urgency with City and even Chelsea. Even when they got the 2-window ban, like they didn't get anything drastic. Okay, a 2-window ban, but you know they were fine after that. I don't think they insert the same implications on these huge clubs like they do with an Everton, for example. So I just see City getting off with the majority of it, and definitely not to the level of what people are talking the most severe circumstance could be of them going down to League Two and all this. So not expecting that.
What do you think of the new stadium thing? Because you go to Old Trafford a lot, don't you, on and off?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'd like to get more, but yeah, I tried to get at least to like 2-3 games a season.
How do you feel about Old Trafford being, or the new stadium? What camp are you in? Are you on like really developing Old Trafford or moving somewhere else?
It's very tough. I would ideally like to stay at Old Trafford, but I was there last February against Fulham. February just gone, last season against Fulham, where we lost 2-1, and the rain coming through the place. Like just this, I know I had seen videos and I'd seen videos of people screwing in the seats and stuff like that, but to actually see it in the flesh, it was a bit.
You brought your bottle of fucking Palmolive, washing yourself on it.
It was concerning, you know.
Was it like really shocking?
It was proper bad. I mean, it was lashing that day, so you seen it in full brunt, you know. And just to see that was mad. So, you know, if anything drastic can't be done there, then absolutely we're going to need a new structure. I would prefer to remain at Old Trafford, but it's a fierce job. I don't know if it's possible, you know.
Yeah,
I guess when we see the plans for the new stadium and how it might look, and I'm of the same opinion of you. I kind of flip-flop because I hear your opinion on it, and now I wholeheartedly agree, and I know what you mean. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And you've been to the stadium and you feel that passion, you know the magic of Old Trafford. And then I think it was Deck who was last time talking about the plans for a potential new stadium. That does sound nice.
Yeah. Warm seats. This is the thing as well. You go to the Spurs Stadium and someone's giving you a fucking foot massage, you know?
Yeah, I heard it's a great experience there. The hospitality and all, you know?
But the logic is, look, I can see where they're coming from. They did do a membership, you know, if you're a member and you get tickets through the website. They did do a in-person debate and they did an online vote. And it is leaning towards the new stadium, so it is going to happen. But the logic that I'd have is, you know, my dad's a United supporter. It'd be very sad to me that we play in a different stadium, you know. But the same kind of logic is with say Ajax, for example, when they moved from De Meer to the Amsterdam Arena. They had to. Like, we have to move. It's just the logic of what's going to happen going forward. I mean, what they could do is maybe, in my opinion, do a grand gesture or something where they, I don't know, maybe uproot the pitch or do something ceremonially where they literally bring a huge portion of Old Trafford and put it there in some way. Because the logic is the Busby Babes played there. You know, people's ashes are scattered around that stadium. You know,
sure, the grass gets replaced every year anyway. So
but it's ceremonial. No.
I could get on board with a bit of ceremonial stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, part of me, I'll tell you one thing. If we are moving, I'd move heaven and earth to be at the last game in Old Trafford.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It would be an emotional one. As I said, yeah, you know, ideally if we could have the new stadium plan in Old Trafford, then yeah, absolutely. But I don't think it's possible.
It'll move quite quickly, I think, when it does happen. Once it's agreed upon, I think it'll move really quickly. Because we can play in the stadium, the other thing will just be built beside it. So it's usually the slowdown and all of that in the changeover of that. Nasty, who do you want gone, player wise?
Yeah, oh geez, it's probably easier to say who do I want to remain.
Probably
at this stage. I mean, for me, he has been better this year, but I've been fed up with Rashford for a very, very long time. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to handpick some players because, you know, at the end of the day, it's not really their fault they're at the club. Like Johnny Evans, for example, he's you know, he has had a couple of good games and that, but realistically, let's call a spade a spade. It's 2024. We're trying to progress ourselves as a club. A new manager's come in. You know, we're off the back of a horrible few results that he has played in. It's like, what has he been at the club for? You know, and I think it's a testament to where we are at the moment that we have to rely on players like that. And again, that's not to pick on Johnny or anything, but you know,
just became best friends, Nasty.
Yeah.
Johnny Evans rant of the similar elk every podcast.
He hates him, but I love him. I'll tell you what. And Andy Mitten is even Andy Mitten does a review and he does a mark out of 10 every game match reaction video, and every single game, even when Johnny Evans is not playing, he gives him a 10 out of 10. So I admire that. And look, in fairness, there's been times when he's come in and he marshalled everything.
Yeah.
But the reality is that he was brought into the club to train and stay sharp, to look for another club, to maybe even join the coaching staff and get his
Because we
badges.
signed Paul McShane
In the same way.
mould the year before that, and Tom Huddleston, the former Tottenham. So they were officially at the Man United squad disposal under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Yeah, thankfully I didn't see Paul McShane suit up in the first team squad.
Yeah.
No.
Evans
Nobody
was
likes
brought
Or
on,
Huddleston, he didn't either. So
Evans was brought on a pre-season tour. He didn't have a contract.
yeah,
And
he just stayed.
Do you know how this happened initially? Like how that all happened? His missus Helen Evans does the United podcast. He just popped into Old Trafford one day when she was recording an episode, and he just got chatting to one of the backroom team. That's how it all happened.
Fair, yeah.
So you hang around the stadium long enough, you'll get picked. for
Pogba's
this.
back training now, see that?
I'm not happy
Where?
with that.
Yeah. Back training United.
He's
Oh,
not. He's
Pogba?
not. No, he's not coming back. But he's training to stay fit. Cause
Yeah, he's training to
I don't know
Carrington.
why that makes
like the way
me happy,
Beckham
though.
shouldn't make you happy.
No, I don't know.
I shouldn't be. No, you're right. I shouldn't be, and I shouldn't have. But also, I don't know. I can't explain that one.
I know, I understand your part. Like there was always a player there, very, very talented player there, but you know, the disrespect he has shown to the club and just the way he left and things like that, and you know, questions over his commitment. I would never have him back.
Pogba was like, let's not forget, lads, 5 or 6 years ago, towards the end with Pogba, we were giving out about him in the way that we give out about Anthony or Rashford now. Can't have that. That's not progress if he comes back on any level. I think he should have been training over in France somewhere with somebody. Like even muddy in the waters and that is disrespectful. And so, but like you were saying about Rashford, it kills me. I'd hate to see.
Yeah.
I'd hate to see Meals on Wheels go, and he does such great things. We love his character. He seems to have a lovely character.
Meals on wheels.
but like, look, let's be honest about it. He's not doing a job.
No.
He's not. And now things are changing again, and he's in and out of things. He gets an odd goal here and there. How can you go from a 25 goal season or whatever it was, 30 goal season, to fucking single figures or just scraping over double digits?
And he doesn't even have the excuse of like an Anthony.
He doesn't know why he's playing bad. That's
Yeah,
the thing.
but he doesn't even have the excuse of like an Anthony, for example. Like Anthony, fair enough, he's had some howlers, but you know, he doesn't play a lot of the time. He definitely doesn't start. So you could argue, you know, maybe he could do with like a run of form or something that he doesn't have the chance to get. Ten Hag was committed to making Rashford work, and he prioritised him over Garnacho a lot, and you know, other players, and he just ensured that Rashford played when he did. So I don't know, it just hasn't been working for the longest time. And I think when do you call, like, we are trying to progress, how long do you reward mediocrity, you know? Absolutely. And I just think, you know, there's too much sentiment around him, and he can't keep getting away with these performances.
Yeah, I think his race is run. And this is the thing, I don't think his career is over by any stretch of the imagination. Why didn't he go to PSG? I'd have been proud of him.
Still could. Still could.
It was a lot of United fan talk. Oh, there's a spot there at PSG, but PSG were looking at that.
Did they ever want him?
Definitely.
I mean,
we'll go for Anthony over him.
It's another thing now. When the whole rumours were floating about how much would we have got for him, probably like 40ish. I don't even think you get that now. No. How much do you get for Rashford now?
Oh, I don't even want to think about it.
You know,
Do you ever see
30 million on a swap? Someone like.
Do you reckon?
Well, look at when Ugarte came in. Nick Barmby, yeah, or fucking.
You have to give the 30 million.
Look at look, if it was ever serious that he was going to go to PSG, it would have happened with the Ugarte transfer. So that's not going to happen. Just going forward, I think. Look, the reality is, because there'll be another transfer window as well coming up in January. I think we all have to go for an out-and-out striker. We need an out-and-out striker, or the season's going to be like Amorim's not going to go back and get, what's his name? Gyökeres.
Right though.
He's a machine.
Yeah.
We need a machine.
Mm.
Like Harry Kane's a machine. Fucking a bit depressed, goes out and scores. Is having a row with his missus, goes out and scores, does his fucking job like Ronaldo. Why can't we just go out and get a goal scoring machine and break the bank? We did it for Amorim. Why can't we go out and get someone who's just the top scorer in Serie A? for the last 2 or 3 years, or Ledinowski, not him, but someone like him, just go out and get the obvious choice and pluck it and bring it into the club because we deserve that. Like, why do we have to keep it? We've been doing it for 20 years. We didn't get the Shearer. It worked in our favour at times, but the obvious choice we don't get. Why can't we just get the obvious fucking choice?
Lukaku.
I was just going to say, I completely agree with you. The only time we really resembled doing that was Lukaku, because didn't we buy him off the back of a huge goal scoring season for Everton, but like not on a consistent run like the levels you're talking, a Kane or a Lewandowski. We've never gone.
Although Chelsea
Ronaldo, I guess,
when he was the best striker in the world at Inter Milan, he was sensational. Goal scoring. He spent 100 million, and where is he now? Napoli, yeah. Banging goals in again.
Yeah. He suits Italy.
Yeah,
he does suit Italy. I don't think Lukaku was like awful at us. He's definitely not up there with like worst transfers or anything.
No, definitely not.
Didn't he score like 27 goals in his first season? So
yeah, I didn't dislike him. The issue that I had, and the issue that I have with big players that come in, especially these big names when they come in, is that it's the weight of the club. It's that everywhere you go. I mean, you get a bit of attention when you're out and about. It's not nice for anyone dealing with that.
Yeah.
You know, and imagine what it's like for footballers, where you can't go anywhere, any time, without someone somewhere approaching you and talking to you about football or criticising you. Even the Garnacho thing recently, where the guy's there getting his autograph and he starts criticising.
Yeah, I hate that. I do. Not only United players, I hate seeing that for any player of any club. Yeah. You know.
Like, did you see that horrible clip where your man, what's his name, Timo Werner, he approaches him in a restaurant and he goes, Timo, why can't you? He went, hey Timo, and he says, why can't you put the ball in the back of the net?
Like,
and then he's filming him, and he's
all for the sake of a few views, what?
Like, it's shocking. Like, I don't understand the logic of that. Like, I do believe that Garnacho is going to come good, and his stats are still higher than all of the other buzzword players like Foden and all of these lads at the start of the season. He is pulling his weight. Yeah, it's about the other cogs in the machine doing something similar for everything to click properly.
Question for you both on Garnacho, and I don't know if it's something out of nothing, but the lack there of celebration with that last goal, anything in it, or just the circumstance of the manager finishing, and what's your take on it?
I kind of respect it. I mean, I feel like, 3-0 against Leicester, especially only beating Leicester a couple of weeks ago, it's like that's a routine victory. Don't need to go overboard with it. I think more players could probably take a leaf out of his book with that.
Agree.
Yeah, look, I love the kid. I think he's great. I do think that it's harder for him to be successful than it was his predecessors. Because there's more attention on him. This is the thing. Footballers, the elite top are supposed to be a bit arrogant. Cantona was arrogant. Ronaldo, the most arrogant footballer ever. Let's be honest.
Karel Boborski, they don't come much more arrogant than that, man.
The chip.
Ibrahimovic.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
So, he wasn't a human.
Do we expect him, what do you expect him to stay humble? And when you get to a certain level and you go up a gear, that's part of it all. They need, it's a self-delusion in order to be successful. They need to prove that to themselves as well. I think it was, I don't have an issue with how we reacted in terms of lack of celebration. I think he was trying to make a point going, this is not on tap forever, lads. Basically just saying. But to be honest with you, I have more of an issue about the fan giving him shit, especially because that was an adult. Are you queuing up to get an autograph for your kid, or are you queuing up to fucking give someone dog's abuse? How's that different from when the guy shouted abuse at Cantona in the crowd in the 90s? It's no different. Yeah. How dare you? Like, no one walks into your workplace and tells you that the fucking burger's undercooked, when they're not eating the burger. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. How dare you? Yeah. Just quickly, just to round things off, a little bit before your time, but I'm sure you're aware of a fella called Eric Cantona.
Absolutely.
What does he mean to you? Does he mean that? And what does his mystique or effect in and around the club have on you? What did I have on you?
I think the word that springs to mind is unique. Like, there's no player in world football today. I'm not talking quality-wise either. I just mean, Cantona himself. There's nobody that resembled that style of striker. And unfortunately, I wasn't privileged to concurrently watch him. But looking back on him, man, I'd absolutely relish somebody like that at United now. And yeah, his presence around the club and just everything about him and his involvement and things like that. It's great to see. Yeah,
and it's the aura. It's almost like he's the that kind of messianic figure.
Yeah.
Like the standard, And I think it's because of his integrity as well. I think he's a huge part of what the ethos of what the club is supposed to be about. The Busby Babes, doing things the right way, being decent, the suits, everything else. Which in reality is actually the opposite of that, because he's a rogue and he's counterculture, which is what's so fascinating about him. I mean, even look at him now. He's always, even when he was at the FIFA Awards and he stood up and he did the Flies for Wanton Boys thing, just fucking everyone going, what the fuck is that? And then afterwards you're going, that's it. Using that just to absolutely stick it in and stick the knife in between the ribs and twist it off at FIFA. I love that about him.
Yeah, the charisma is unbelievable.
Yeah, just like it seems like a great bloke. We were 10 minutes. I was 10 minutes away from meeting him when it was over recently. Someone texted me and said, "Oh, he's down in this pub," and I was like, "He'd never drink that kip." And then I went down, and there he was. My cousin sent me a photograph.
Yeah.
What's next for you in terms of the long term? You're obviously involved in a couple of different things. What's the long term trajectory of the work? And obviously you still enjoy it because you're still you're traveling all the time. You're just in China recently and stuff as well. I mean, you must be having the time of your life with all this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can't complain with all the travelling. It's something I always dreamed of in some way or another. Maybe not travelling around eating burgers and curries, but it's still travelling nonetheless. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. Obviously now I've ventured into the MMA boxing side of things with a podcast, Ground and Pound. So just after recording for the John Jones card there. So yeah, looking to push that. That's gone well so far. But definitely next year I'd love to delve further into the space that I've started with the field, and possibly open up an old truck or a trailer or something like that. I feel like
your own business.
That could be a good move. Yeah, something like that. So I'm definitely looking down that path.
Since you've mentioned it, and just off point, just about the Tyson Paul thing. What's your take on all of that?
Just a show at the end of the day, wasn't it? Did you watch the fight? Yeah. I mean, like, in fairness, a lot of people I think respecting Jake because he could have gone a lot more. He could have put a lot more venom into those shots, and in the end, Jake won the fight. But I don't think Mike came out of it with any irreversible damage. He got a lot of money, so I think probably best outcome for all parties.
I just found it all a bit bizarre. I mean, that fight was about as fair as when Conor McGregor punched the outfit in the bar. Let's be honest about it.
Jake Paul is a good boxer. All right, make him fight Canelo. Make him fight Triple G. Right.
Tommy Fury, when he gave him the slaps, that was much fairer.
He's obviously now both Jake Paul and Tommy Fury would mill me in a heartbeat, but Tommy Fury not really much of a boxer either.
Yeah, get him in the ring with a proper trained fighter.
I think he's very smart in terms of picking those opponents that will sell, but he also, and him and his team knows that he'll beat comfortably, like a Mike Tyson or a Mike Perry even. Mike Perry was big and bare knuckle, which is a lot different to boxing, so it kind of had people thinking, well, this is the big challenge now. If he beats him, we have to start thinking otherwise. But
it's all a big publicity.
Yeah, thing. He is smart in the way he approaches it.
He's a
I did have a question for you actually, Nasti. I was saying this to Paul before I come on. Roy Keane famously quoting when he was angry at the fans, the Prawn Brigade fan. What was the quote?
Prawn sandwiches.
The Prawn Sandwich Brigade.
Yes.
Apparently it's a delicacy served at Old Trafford.
Okay.
Have you ever sampled it?
A prawn sandwich?
Prawn sandwich.
I actually haven't. I love prawns. I love sandwiches. I couldn't see it going too wrong.
So I think based on the Keane giving the fans stick for that, I'd love to see you do that on the videos next time you're out.
A prawn. And what, they sell them at Old Trafford?
It's a delicacy.
I've actually never seen
the Prawn Sandwich Brigade.
Yeah.
So you're all sitting there criticising the player, eating your prawn sandwiches. Keane was on the mat. I think this was close to when he got let out in the club.
I'll have to have a look at that now. Next time we go over.
Not like you need the numbers, but I'm sure that'll land.
Oh no, yeah, absolutely.
It's rotten.
So guys, thanks a million for watching and listening. Please subscribe on Spotify, YouTube obviously. Subscribe and share with a friend. We really appreciate your time in watching and getting involved. If you want to go a step further, you can pop on over to buymeacoffee.com/Cult of Cantona. We also have a Facebook group where you can join us for chats and debates, and you can get us on TikTok, Instagram, and of course on Facebook. Until next time, thanks for a really nasty 55 minutes.
No, thank you for having me. Pleasure.
And we really appreciate it. Guys, all the best and glory, glory, Man United.